Coming up on the Hilton Head News, Democrats of Beaufort County south of the Broad meet State Senator Vincent Sheheen. His goal to unseat Governor Nikki Haley in the 2014 election. We'll talk with Senator Sheheen. And school is just around the corner. Students stock up on supplies. Stand by, the Hilton Head News is next. Welcome to the Hilton Head News. I'm McNair. The Democratic Club of Beaufort County south of the Broad held its annual members picnic Sunday on Hilton Head Island. Democratic gubernatorial candidate State Senator Vincent Sheheen made a stop at Jarvis Park to speak with fellow Democrats. Chair Lynne says although Senator Sheheen lost to Nikki Haley in 2010, this time the outcome will be different. Lotz also predicts victory for Sheheen right here in Beaufort County.
We have the best group of volunteers in Beaufort County, I think, than we have any place else in the state of South Carolina. Let me tell you, in 2012, during the last special election for U.S. Congress, the Beaufort County portion of that first congressional district, we only lost for Elizabeth by 2 percentage points. And we did better for her, for instance, than in Charleston County, which was her home. And the reason is because of the wonderful volunteers we have, not only on Hilton Head Island, but in Bluffton and in Sun City, and also in northern Beaufort County.
We had a chance to speak with Senator Sheheen while he was here, and we'll have that interview later on the Hilton Head News. Well, even though school hasn't started, the halls of Hilton Head Island High School were busy Saturday. That's because the Beaufort County School District, along with other partners, held its Back to School Expo. There were free school supplies as well as workshops. Also, Coastal Carolina and Hilton Head hospitals provided free health screenings.
We always look for opportunities in the community where we can promote wellness for the general public, and that includes members of all ages of our community. So we're providing health information, blood pressure screenings, and glucose screenings.
Parents and students who plan on doing their school shopping this weekend will be able to make their money go a little further in South Carolina. That's because it's the 14th annual sales tax holiday in the state. Shoppers can save on items like computers, clothing, bedding, books and pens, and paper. The sales tax holiday starts Friday morning and runs through Sunday. Now, according to the National Retail Association, it's the third busiest shopping time of the year in South Carolina. While there are savings to be had this weekend in the state, South Carolina taxpayers pay over $630,000 a year for highway troopers to provide traffic control at special events. According to the Associated Press, 3 public college football teams are responsible for 3/4 of that bill. The State Department of Public Safety is not allowed to charge those schools. That's because since the mid-1990s, legislators have inserted a clause in the state budget that bars the agency from charging for special event services. Efforts to remove the prohibition in the budget have cropped up now and then at the State House every few years, but they failed. Now here's a quick look at what it costs taxpayers to provide traffic control at 3 colleges. The cost for coverage at the University of South Carolina and Clemson University football games, $234,360 each. At South Carolina State football games, the cost is $10,850. And locally, troopers provide traffic control for the RBC Heritage PGA Tournament on Hilton Head Island. That billed to taxpayers $34,720. Well, the rate of people who sign up for organ donation when they get a new driver's license in South Carolina is well below the national rate. That's according to this year's National Donor Designation Report Card. While the national rate stands at about 45%, here in South Carolina, about 22% of those people who get a new license sign up as an organ donor. Now, nationwide, 120,000 people, including 1,000 here in South Carolina, are waiting for organ transplants. Well, Amazon.com says it will add 7,000 jobs in 13 states to beef up staff at its warehouses where it fills orders and also in its customer service division. 5,000 full-time jobs will be filled at its distribution centers, and 2 of those distribution centers are located in South Carolina, one in Spartanburg, the other in Charleston. Currently, 20,000 workers pack and ship customer orders in the U.S. for Amazon, which is the world's largest online retailer. Well, rapper DMX faces charges of driving under the influence and driving without a license after he was arrested Friday in Greer, South Carolina. Officials say the 42-year-old DMX, whose real name is Earl Simmons, was arrested last year in Spartanburg County for suspicion of driving without a license. In that instance, he was released after paying a fine. It's not known whether the rapper has an attorney for these most recent charges. Well, a secret donor has pledged up to $34 million to help get the USS Olympia, a Spanish-American war battleship, to Port Royal. That word from Pete Richards, the leader of the South Carolina Olympia Committee. The Beaufort Gazette reports that the Olympia is currently in Philadelphia along the Battery Creek waterfront. The committee is one of 2 finalists bidding on the Olympia, but there may be a hitch in the plans. While the committee hopes to get land in Port Royal donated by the State Ports Authority, an authority spokesperson says state law requires that that land be sold at fair market value. Now, when we return, Lynne Hummell has details on the alligator that was shot multiple times with arrows and had to be euthanized. Later, a conversation with State Senator Vincent Sheheen, who says he wants to win the governor's race in 2014. We'll be right back.
I'm here at the top of the Harbour Town Lighthouse with Nadia Wagner. She's the lighthouse keeper. Nadia, this is a Hilton Head icon, but many people don't realize it's so much more.
It is, Debbie. The view is so thrilling. Many people don't realize you can climb to the top. We've had many marriage proposals, even weddings. You can shop at the top for gifts you won't find anywhere else and wave to friends and family on our live webcam. It's the high point of the Lowcountry.
You do not want to miss this view. What's the admission cost, Nadia?
It's only $3.75 per person, and kids 5 and under are free.
Make this a must-see while you're here on Hilton Head. Thanks, Nadia.
Thank you. See you soon.
Lynne Hummell joins us now from Hilton Head Sun with Hot Off the Press. Hi, Lynne.
Hi, Allie. How are you?
Great, thank you. I know there's been some news recently with regards to the FAA saying some folks have to move from buildings that are too close to the Hilton Head Island Airport. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. A little more than a year ago, several businesses and one very well-known nonprofit were told that they were going to have to move out of their buildings because they are not in compliance with the FAA regulations. And so they've been wondering what they're going to be doing next. The Deep Well project, which has been in its building for over a decade, is the charity that we're talking about. The businesses were told that the FAA will pay 90% of their moving costs, but that the county has not yet applied for grants to get that money. And these businesses can't apply for it themselves. The officials say they've been too busy with expansion plans, and they might be applying within the next year, and then it'll take about a year to get the funds. And by the way, this non-compliance has nothing to do with the expansion at the airport. It's just that they've been out of compliance for several years, and the FAA just keeps waiving the regulation part of it.
Now, do we know then specifically when they really have to be moved out then, Lynne?
Not exactly. The officials say that the businesses will get 9 months to a year's notice from the time that the FAA approves their grant, and that would be before they actually have to move. So it really depends on when the county makes the application for the grant.
Heritage Classic Foundation, this year they started something called Champions for Charity to help out local nonprofits. Some say they've gotten more money as a result of that program, some less. What are you hearing about that?
Well, it's a mixed bag, actually. And before the Champions for Charity, they had Birdies for Charities. And some charities are getting less money than they did last year because they didn't latch on to these 2 programs maybe as intensely as they could have. Some were quicker to adapt to the new format. But the foundation is no longer giving lump sum grants. So they're depending on the charities to ask their donors to donate directly to the foundation, and then they will match by 20% or up to 20% of what they receive. So Stan Smith, who is the chair of the foundation's charity committee, says that once the nonprofits get used to the new format, the amount of funding is likely to rebound.
Well, the next story, Lynne, that you want to talk about, really awful. Alligator was really shot up with arrows on the island. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was out in Spanish Wells, and someone had called Critter Management, who is the only official Department of Natural Resources animal removal company on Hilton Head. They found an alligator that Joe Maffos thought was dead, actually, but after looking at him, they discovered that he'd been shot 11 times with arrows. His eyes were shot out, an arrow between the eyes, and he said that it was really a sad thing, and it was beyond abusive, and I absolutely agree. DNR is investigating this. You know, over the years, we've heard a couple of other incidents where people other than officials have taken out an alligator that was said to be a nuisance, but that's just not the right thing to do.
You betcha. Well, thanks for the update, Lynne Hummell of the Hilton Head Sun. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Charlie Clark joins us. She's the vice president of the Hilton Head Island-Bluffton Chamber of Commerce. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Allie.
Well, you're going to talk about special events today and how they really tie into the business community. How important are they really to businesses in the area?
You know, I think sometimes as residents and as visitors as well, we enjoy these events. We go to them, big events like Heritage or Concord and just various things that happen throughout the year. We don't really think about the business community connection. And there is a very strong business community connection when it comes to events like these.
As far as dollars that come into the area, I know you've got some stats on that. Before you go to those, though, I know that there's been some buzz about an event, a special event coming up this fall, and is this something the Chamber's supporting? Tell us about it.
Absolutely. You know, the Hilton Head Island Institute is putting forth a new event for the island, and if we remember, you know, every event on our island was at one time a new event, and they've really come out of the gate strong this year. Allie, they're really working on something that's akin to like an educational series, sort of like Chautauqua or an Aspen Institute, kind of a learning experience when it comes to visitation. And I think it's going to be really successful. Their first year out of the chute, they've got some strong speakers, such as Randy Zuckerberg, who is Mark Zuckerberg's sister, and she helped with the formation of Facebook and has gone on to do her own thing marketing-wise and been very successful. So a lineup of speakers that are going to be very interesting and very informative, and it looks like they're kicking off actually starting in August with some speakers regarding the Low Country. So it's a neat initiative, and we're behind it 100%.
Well, that sounds great. What about the economic impact, though, from events like these for our area?
Well, if you look at just this event alone, I mean, if you look at it's modeled after Chautauqua, and they have over 100,000 people come to Chautauqua every year. For Chautauqua events, for the learning that they do there, as well as Aspen Institute. You look at some of our other larger events, such as the Heritage, which has an over $80 million impact. The RBC Heritage plays a big role and has a big impact in our community, as well as Concord. You know, the Concord Diligence has grown over 46%, over 14,000 visitors every year, most of those from out of town, a large majority of those are from out of town. So it's really important to our economy, and those are trickle down. Those impact our business community as well.
I would think some people that have interest in some of these special events actually make their travel plans around the events itself. So do we see that has an impact on travelers' decisions to come here?
Absolutely it does. You know, when it comes to events, larger events, but also smaller events. Allie, when we do our Taste of the Season event, we have calls from people who ask us the dates because they book their travel based around that event. So it is really important to our economy, and we can't ever forget that these are the folks that are staying in our hotels, they're eating in our restaurants, they're potentially looking at us for future real estate purchases, and so they are in fact enhancing our community in a big way. So events like the Hilton Head Island Institute is about to launch go a long way in making that happen, and our hats are off to them for trying something new and coming out of the gate strong.
Well, Charlie Clark, Vice President of Communications for the Hilton Head Island-Bluffton Chamber of Commerce. As always, great to have you here on the Hilton Head News. Thanks.
Thanks, Allie.
And when we return, we'll hear from State Senator Vincent Sheheen. We got a chance to talk with him on Hilton Head Island Sunday. He tells us why he thinks he should be the next governor of the Palmetto State. Stay right there.
The Westin Hilton Head Island Resort and Spa is celebrating its grand renewal. Relax and unwind at the totally renovated resort featuring new pools, lush gardens and courtyards, guest rooms, ballroom, main lobby, conservatory, and more. Enjoy family fun on the beach, improve your game with unparalleled golf, indulge your senses with newly inspired low-country cuisine in our refreshed restaurants including Oceanfront View 32 and Barony Bar, and rejuvenate at the Heavenly Spa. Stay for a night, a weekend, or more at the Westin Hilton Head Island Resort and Spa. Be well, be Westin.
The Beaufort County Democratic Club south of the Broad held its annual picnic at Jarvis Park on Sunday. State Senator Vincent Sheheen, who announced his candidacy in the 2014 governor's race, made a stop at the picnic and took some time to answer some of our questions.
People want to see our state succeed. They're tired of failure, and I believe we can do it. I've lived here my entire life. I care deeply about this state, and I want the people to know what's going on in their state government.
If we look at what happened as far as people's credit information being compromised by the Department of Revenue, Nikki Haley would argue, hey, we did something about it. We gave everyone free access to a credit checking entity that let people know if they run into any trouble. I mean, how would you have reacted differently?
Well, the first thing Nikki Haley did when all our tax information was stolen through the incompetence of her Department of Revenue was keep it secret. She kept it secret for over 2 weeks, and then she got on camera and said nothing could have been done to prevent it. She has purposely said nothing could have happened, people get hacked. I don't think it's an accident or coincidence. We're the only state in the country that had a hacking scandal. The agency wasn't even taking the most basic information protection steps that other state agencies do. She's got unqualified people running the agency, so they don't make sure they have the security in place. She had not hired the appropriate security positions for over a year. Those people were in there for like 2 months stealing stuff, and they didn't even know it. It was pure incompetence. We need a governor who's focused on improving things like small businesses in the state, public education, paving roads, fixing bridges, not hiding the scandalous behavior that's occurred in their administration, and I think people are sick and tired of it.
You've run against Nikki Haley before. It's a well-known entity at this point. Why do you think the outcome might be different and you could end up being in the governor's office?
Well, the election was incredibly close last time. This time, Nikki Haley has a record, and people, if you can communicate with them and talk to them and touch them and let them understand what's really happening, they'd want to know that you're just not one of the same old people who've been doing the same old thing for the last 20 years. And it's easy for me to say, hey, I sit on the back row of the Senate, and I certainly haven't been the one screwing up all these state agencies.
Scott Huffman, political analyst who works at Winthrop Poll, said you have to show you are a South Carolina Democrat rather than a national Democrat. Do you agree with him?
We just want two-party system in South Carolina. We want like competitive two parties. You get better government. Part of the problem here is one party. And that happens in democratically controlled states or Republican controlled states, and you get a lot of corruption and incompetence. And what we got here, I think what's important is to stay focused on what matters in South Carolina. You know, Nikki Haley rarely talks about the state. She talks more about national politics and her own career. So I do talk about the state and how we can improve public schools, how we can bring down homeowners insurance rates, how we can have an open and accountable and honest government. I think that's important, and I think the voters understand and know that we haven't got what we deserve in South Carolina's government. I don't think it's hard to remind folks that we have a failed government in South Carolina. When I ask people on the street, are they satisfied with their government in South Carolina? I've yet to have one tell me yes. They know it's broken, they know it's been scandalous, and they know that it's not operating the way it should. You say, hey, somebody's got to step up and make it happen. Great to be here in Beaufort County. I love coming to the Low Country, and I'll be back many times.
Hey, how we doing? All right, good to see you there. You bet. Bring it on.
Changes have been in the news as far as renovations and changes at the resort of Sea Pines. And joining me now is the Director of Resort Development at Sea Pines, Cliff McMacken. Great to see you, Cliff.
Hi, Allie.
Tell me, what are your responsibilities in this position?
My roles and responsibility is to analyze all of the amenities that we have here in Sea Pines Resort.
And let's talk about some of those amenities. I know some are getting a facelift, specifically some of the golf courses at Sea Pines Resort. What one is undergoing renovation right now?
Well, currently we're under construction with the golf club at Sea Pines Resort. It's replacing the old Plantation Club, which was a social hub in its day, but it ended near the end of its useful life, and so we want to restore some excitement to this location.
And also in the news a lot lately, Cliff, has been the Sea Pines Beach Club. Some of the residents not happy with the fact that plans don't include parking spaces for 200 folks, less parking than that. They went before the Board of Appeals and said, gee, we'd like to be heard. That request was denied, and now that group is saying we're going to talk with a lawyer, and they don't know whether they're going to move forward or not. Where is the resort with regards to the beach club?
Well, we are working through the normal approval process with the town, and we do look forward to starting construction this fall.
Can you tell us a little bit about what people will find at the new Sea Pines Beach Club?
Well, first and foremost, the access to the beach will be tremendously enhanced with wider walkways, cabana showers, an increased number of showers. We'll have a fast casual dining element that will serve pre-made wraps, pre-made sandwiches, salads, juices for the families on the go. Increased number of restroom facilities, family restrooms dedicated to those families. We'll have a beachside bar component as well as a featured grill dining element.
And I believe you had mentioned to me that there's actually going to be some indoor dining that will be available at the new beach club, right?
There will be, and we're excited to say that this will allow us to operate the facility on a year-round basis. We also have an upstairs dining area or bar that will, to my knowledge, be the first rooftop oceanfront bar on Hilton Head.
Well, Cliff McMacken, I know you'll keep us posted on the changes going on at Sea Pines. We appreciate your time today. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Allie.
And when we come back, Nancy Watts will tell us where to go on Hilton Head Island. Stay right there.
Welcome to Brown Golf, where playing here has its rewards. Purchase a 20-round package of golf prior to May 1st, 2013 and receive a full day with yours truly. That's 18 holes of golf, 2-hour mini school, and lunch. To purchase that package, go to browngolfmanagement.com. That's browngolfmanagement.com. Now, let's go humble the golf course.
Nancy Watts joins us from Where to Go magazine. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Allie. It's good to be back.
Well, I know you wanted to talk about the fact that school's going to be starting soon, and that means just a few more weeks for what?
You know what? It's going to be another maybe a couple of weeks, maybe three more of the Harbour Fest and Friday night Palooza that they have with Jimmy Buffett. Remember, I said Buffett this time. And all kinds of other good things are still happening. It's just get in there and get it all done.
And we've got the fireworks still going on, right, Tuesday nights?
We have. And then next Monday night, we have another wine tasting with AIWF. And people say, what in the world is AIWF? AIWF is the American Institute of Wine and Food. It was started by Julia Child when Julia Child was wild and crazy. And not wild and crazy, just a very entertaining lady. But nevertheless, if you'd like to come, it's 5 to 6 o'clock over at the at Corks next to Staples.
Oh, right, and you're the Publix there in the South End.
Yes, it is.
So that's going to be next Monday. That sounds like fun.
Summer Whites.
That sounds great. What about for kids? Coastal Discovery Museum's had a lot of programs this summer, right?
Oh, and they still do. They still do. And on top of that, take your children fishing. Take your kids out and let them kayak. Get them out there on the water. They will love it. And two, it's just a little bit longer for the crabber jay and all those wonderful, anything out of the water is just so exciting for those babies to see those dolphins out there just running up and down beside the boats.
And you know what, it's exciting for us adults too, Nancy, and we'll give you a little plug here that in your nautical notes section of Where to Go, I know a lot of visitors pick up that magazine, but even for locals, you have a whole listing, don't you, of fishermen and boat captains.
And every one of those guys are so wonderful. I don't know if I told you, but we were down in the Abacos and we went fishing and we didn't catch a fish. Not a fish.
So better luck here, right?
Here it's wonderful. Here they are just catching fish right and left. There's freshwater fish if you can find most of it's brackish though, I must admit. But if you can take those babies fishing, they would love it.
Well, Nancy Watts, as always, telling us where to go here on Hilton Head Island. We appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
We love it, and I love being here to tell you all about it.
And thank you for watching the Hilton Head News. I'm Allie McNair. We'll see you the next time.